Also talk about our own James Rosen, who joins me now. James Rosen had a chance to be in a gaggle with President Trump today. Tell us about your exchange with him. You asked him a very pointed questions about if he were to be indicted, how would he proceed? Tell us about it.
John, great to be with you. The former president's news conference with reporters took place just before the speech that our viewers just watched. It went for about 30 minutes. He took questions on a wide range of subjects, at one point saying that he would be able, if elected, to end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. When pressed as to exactly how he'd go about it, he told the reporter, "I'm not going to tell you because then I probably wouldn't be able to do it." My exchange with the former president concerned one of the major questions that's hanging over his candidacy. And that, of course, has to do with a series of multiple criminal investigations into various activities of his, both before and during the election. He was very forthright in answering it. Let's play the clip. Mr. President, James Rosen with NEWSMAX. I have two questions about the election, if you'd indulge me. This campaign for the presidency unfolds against a backdrop in which, unlike the previous ones, you face multiple criminal investigations into your activities. I know that you have dismissed these as politically partisan witch hunts and that you maintain your complete and total innocence. Nonetheless, we are given to believe that one or more of these investigations may soon approach their resolution in terms of the handing down of indictments or what have you. Can you take this moment to assure your donors and your supporters that you're in this race to stay no matter what happens with those investigations if you are indicted one or more times?
Sure. Well, they did two phony impeachments, and we won that, and the Republicans stuck together, and we won, as you know, we went up very substantially in the polls. These are witch hunts. These have been going on for a long time. They've weaponized justice in our country. It's a disgrace, and I think people are very angry about it. Even Democrats are very angry about it.
So you'll stay in the race?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't even think about leaving. These are fake stories. These are horrible. The press is pressing them to do something, and I think it's very sad for our country. I think it's very dangerous for our country. And people, I can say that, you have thousands of people outside, and you didn't have that for others. They're very upset and very angry about it. It's just a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. And we turned around our country. We did a fantastic job, and now our country is going to hell. And this comes largely from the Justice Department, or as I call it, the Injustice Department. It starts there. They've even weaponized the local agencies and the local DAs and attorney generals. They put people from the Justice Department in the Manhattan DA's office. I mean, think about that. They're racists. You got a lot of racists. You got a lot of race baiting. It's a disgraceful thing that's going on. The country's never seen anything like it. And yeah, probably it'll enhance my numbers, but it's a very bad thing for America. It's very bad for the country.
Should Kamala Harris, should Vice President Harris, in your view, when the electoral votes from the 2024 election are certified in the Congress, have the power, when that's happening, to reject Republican electoral votes?
Well, you know, they did have a certain power. They certainly had the power to send it back, because right after everything was over, and they all said they didn't have it, and I said, well, our vice president isn't supposed to be a conveyor belt. If they find something wrong, they should do something about it. But they changed, as you know, the Voting Act. They changed it right after. Now, I said, why did you change it if he couldn't do anything? They said, well, he could do something. It turned out that it was a big con job, but they changed it. And I wish Mike sent the votes back to the different states. I think you would have had a very different outcome.
So the news from all of that, for the first time, former President Trump making it clear he will stay in the race for the White House. He will remain a candidate even if he is indicted in one or more of the 4 separate criminal investigations that face him right now. Of course, he's not been charged formally with any wrongdoing, and he maintains his innocence. Really fascinating to hear him say that he thought that if that should come to pass, it will probably enhance his numbers, John.
Well, all we have to think about is his first impeachment trial and him being found not guilty in that trial. We did see a bounce in the polls after the fact. The Trump supporters, they love the fighter, and I think some people who might sit on the sidelines get engaged sometimes when Trump is engaged in one of these types of conflicts. Two big real questions with Donald Trump, too. I thought that was a very fascinating exchange about the vice presidency.
Yeah, the question that I posed in essence was based on his previous assertion that Vice President Pence had the authority and the power to reject those electoral votes. He's obviously very upset with Mike Pence for not having done so. So I tried to put a slightly different cast on it and ask, do you believe that Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, has that authority come January of 2025 when the electoral votes from this election are going to be tallied and certified? And it showed that he keeps up with this because he knew about the change to the law and in essence suggested that the question is moot on that basis, and he probably was right about that. Yeah. He was sharp. He seemed in pretty good health. Might have shed a few lbs. He looks ready to run.
Yeah, and I bet he'll be on the golf course tomorrow morning somewhere in Palm Beach County. James Rosen, great job today.
Thank you, John.
See you soon.
Appreciate it.